Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the channel. Today, I have for you a very special treat. This is a very early mid-year birthday present for me that I treated myself to. So this is the Rockler router table, the whole setup. Plus, I've got the Triton router here. This is the bigger one. I think it's 3¼ horsepower. It's a beast. And I wanted to kind of give you an idea of what this setup looks like at the same time giving you my review of just the table. I'll do a separate review of the router at some point. So I have to get some use out of it first before I can really kind of give you my honest opinion. So, subscribe, click that notification bell, and as soon as that pops up, you'll see it. But in the meantime, I'd like to kind of focus just on the table. So the table comes in several different pieces. The fence is in a separate shipment. Sorry about the mess. The actual steel structure of it is in a separate shipment. The tabletop box. Oh man, I've got such a mess going on here. It's over there, separate shipment. The plate is a separate shipment. Again, sorry about the mess. Now I'm a little embarrassed. And then all of these different accessories are different shipments. So I want to point out what the table includes. If you buy the table kit, essentially, you have to also pick which plate do you want. So I had to go with Group C, which is the one that fits my Triton router. You have to figure out which one is yours, but this will be the only piece different if you have a different router, okay? Everything else will be the same, meaning the table will come with this high-pressure laminate top, and this track is already installed. These grooves are already cut out for you for your fence. The fence that what it comes with, it's almost easier to tell you what it doesn't come with, but what it comes with is this little protector piece, this little lens, these two pieces of board that are already grooved for accessories and whatnot, which this thing initially fastens into. The fasteners, obviously, for the fence, and the fasteners for this these two boards, okay? So that's what it comes with. What it doesn't come with, okay, is this featherboard, these two featherboards, and the vacuum or the dust collection port here. It does not come with these four accessories. And it doesn't come, I should mention, it also doesn't come with this kill switch, which is super nice. I don't have it plugged in right now. I'm not going to show you a demonstration of my router. This is just about the table. This is quite nice safety feature. You can always kind of kick it with your leg and whatnot and stop the router. Doesn't come with that. That's an accessory you have to buy. And it also doesn't come with these super nice locking casters. It does not come with these. It comes with some, what do I do with them? Quite confident I threw those somewhere that I'll never find again. Basically, these little legs that it comes with. If I think of where I put that, I'll show them to you. But right now, I'm kind of drawing a blank. Huh. Yeah, I don't know what to do with those. They're probably in here somewhere. Somewhere all of this mess resides the original legs that it came with. Anyway, they were nothing impressive. They're just these little legs that have like a rubber bottom, and I couldn't for the life of me even figure out how to adjust for the height. And the other thing is these casters don't really have a height adjustment, so if for whatever reason you find out that your table isn't level, which luckily mine is level, but if it isn't, then you're kind of out of luck. Obviously, it doesn't come with this shelf. You know, that's just a piece of 1/2 inch plywood that I cut out. Okay, so what do I think of that table so far? Now, I haven't gotten much use out of it, but I can tell you that I really do like it for a lot of features. This fence is super nice. The fact that it comes in all these pieces, honestly, it's a lot of work. Okay, it's taken me several shipments, several days of waiting on parts, several issues that I had, which all kind of ended up being my fault. So I want to go over those issues. If you get this set up, okay, don't make the mistake that I made. No, the instructions are not good, okay? Know that these legs are not identical. They have hole patterns for mounting accessories, okay? That if you put in the wrong order, it will let you put them in the wrong order. But if you put them in the wrong order, the accessories will not line up with what you want. And it's not a big deal. I guess you can always get a drill bit and drill your own holes, but it's just nice to go with what they gave you. The other thing to be really careful with, which I screwed up, and I thought this was Rockler's fault at first, but it isn't. It's my fault, and their support team is absolutely great. They pick up the phone right away, and I haven't had a lot of experience with Rockler before, so definitely a fan right now, except for the fact that they make horrible instructions for their stuff. Just remember that the legs should always be on the outside, okay? So they're on the outside. So if you accidentally put one of these on the on the outside, then you're going to have issues with squaring. Okay, and that's the issue. I had one of them on the outside. There's a lot, right? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 16 of these things. It takes some time to put together, and I don't recommend. I first used my power tool. I don't recommend using your power tool. Just get out your wrench, just like a regular old static wrench, not even a ratchet, and put it together. That's probably your best bet. It's going to go much faster that way. And then the other thing that I did is I used one of my squares, also from Rockler. By the way, they're not sponsoring this video, in case you're wondering. I used one of these as I went and tightened to make sure that I was getting a decent square. Now, I'm not too obsessed with getting this square because it really doesn't matter. What matters is that the top is in decent order. Featherboards, obviously a great feature to have on a router table. I recommend getting this kit. So there's a kit. This is also important. There's a kit that comes with these 2 featherboards, this one, and the dust collection port. That's one kit. I believe it's $49. Don't quote me on that. I don't know. This switch is its own item. I think it was like $29 or something like that. And the casters are their own item. Now, you might think I'm just going to buy my own casters, but I have to say these are pretty impressive casters. When you lock them, they don't move side. I just unlocked it, but when you lock them, they don't move side to side or move back and forth. I like that, okay? Because some casters, when you lock them, they just lock the wheel. This also locks the rotating mechanism. The bearing there, it gets locked. So it is super nice and fluid when it's unlocked. And all 4 of them are locking casters. So I do highly recommend getting those. They weren't terribly expensive, and it's a good investment and I have a big space here to work with. I mean, compared to some, I'm very fortunate. Again, don't mind the mess. I'm just doing a lot of different things right now. It's usually not this messy. Okay, one thing I want to point out, because I don't want you to make a decision on this video that is not informed. This is my Triton router height adjustment arm. The hole for it is not in this plate, even though it kind of makes it sound like the hole for it would be in this plate, because it makes it sound like this plate is made for this router. This hole is something you're going to have to do yourself. And I believe it's 7/16 of an inch bit, which I guarantee you don't have in your standard drill bit set. I did not, so I used a 5/16, and then I used my Dremel sander to kind of my little sanding bit, the circular sanding bit, to like make it slightly bigger and bigger and bigger until I get a nice fit, good tight fit. And I really do recommend the nice tight fit. So what happens is this thing gets seated over here, clicks in. So when it rotates, the router goes up and down. This is super cool router, by the way. Again, I haven't had a lot of use out of it, so I'm not going to be able to give you an honest review of that. But as far as the table goes, nice and smooth, very, very even top. Oh, one thing I forgot. So here's another thing that, again, instructions, Rockler, come on. You got to mention these things. When I first threw this plate in here, it fell in, and it had like a 1/16 of an inch or more lip on it. And I was like, man, what the hell? This isn't leveled. Then I realized there's a small bag of screws that were included in the setup. And that's after calling tech support, and they pointed me to this. I'm like, oh, let me go look. And sure enough, there was these set of screws. And you put these screws in, and these are leveling screws. There's 8 of them, 2 here, 1 here, 2 there, 1 there, and then 1 on each side, okay? So for a total of 8, and then you just kind of keep screwing these in, and I recommend taking your time so you don't get them in sideways, get them nice and straight, as I appear to have kind of done here. And then once you do that, you'll be able to get it nice and beautifully level. Look at that beautiful level surface. So nice. Okay, so my overall impression, and I was comparing Rockler and Craig. I think you get more for your money with the Rockler setup. It's a nice and sturdy setup once it's all done. The accessories are super nice. They do what they say. Let's see. Dust collection port. I do highly recommend that. I create a lot of dust as I go. Triton also sells a little divider for the dust collection, so you can use it here and down below. As you can see, the dust that I get in here will go into this housing here, and it has a little extraction port here. So my plan is to get that divider, put it here, and connect it to the one on top, and then vacuum both of those out. So I should get little to no dust, other than the dust that naturally always gets shot out the side of your workpiece as you're routing. Okay, so that you can't do a whole lot about. You could get one of those kind of suction cups here, but like, I'll just get my vacuum afterwards and take care of that. Let's see, what else do I have to say about it? Installation process for the bottom part here. Give yourself a good hour getting it. And the top, by the way, comes pre-drilled for these screws that connect it to the top, right? So it comes pre-drilled for that, which is super nice. But since I had screwed up, mine wasn't a perfect square at first, so I missed a couple of those holes and I had to drill my own, and then I realized what I'd done wrong anyway. So hopefully that won't happen to you. The only big secret is just knowing these legs are not identical. The 2s go across from each other and the 1s go across from each other. So that's a 2. This is a 2. That's a 1. This is a 1. Okay. And if you've done that right, and I just referenced this, their little brand sticker. It's not really a sticker, it's like a plate. I referenced that to be the front. And I knew obviously this track was the front, and the fence was the back. So that's how I referenced everything to get it right. My only recommendation for Rockler, honestly, is just work on your instructions a little bit, because, geez, you could save yourself a lot of money on returns, and you can save yourself a lot of money on customer service calls. Also, it comes with this little doohickey for having a place to grab onto and lift the plate up, so you don't have to like reach into your sharp bit and get yourself. So that's quite nice. And I keep that in this little magnetic bowl that I have from working on my car usually that I use. And I'm also keeping my 1/2-inch collar here. Hopefully this has helped you make your purchase decision. If you have any questions about this table setup, again, I'm not sponsored by anybody. I'm just doing an honest review of the product, the way I see it, and the little bit of use that I've gotten out of it. It's doing exactly what I wanted to do. The only thing I would have been nice is if they had this hole pre-drilled for me, because it was kind of like nerve-wracking making sure you get it in exactly the right place. You want a perfect drop from this to where that adjustment is. Otherwise, you're going to have this like clunkiness going on. But I will show you this. And thank you for whoever's video I watched that helped with that. So the router does have, the base of the router does have a little notch. So what you could do is you can line up your holes, put the router on top of the plate, turn everything around, and then draw a little half circle there, and then find somehow, I don't know, by luck, essentially, find the center of that quarter circle, and then put your drill bit there and drill through. I use my drill press just to kind of make sure I'm getting a nice and straight hole. I would not try to freehand this. I know it's not that big of a deal, but so this is how it all works with the Triton router. And again, it's super cool that, you can adjust the height. Let's see, like that. And if you don't know this about the Triton router, it's got some really nifty features. So when you bring it up as high as it takes to like change the bit, like basically to this maximum height, it will do a few things. First, let's pretend it's on. It's not plugged in right now, so I can just hit this on switch, okay? Now watch what happens as I bring the router all the way up. It knows that it's reaching that top position. Oh. Oops. Yeah, I gotta take this plate off. But anyway, I'll just tell you about it. It knows that it's reaching that top position, that you're trying to do that. So it will automatically throw the switch off, and then it'll cover it, and you won't. I'm sorry. It'll cover it, and this will get locked, so you won't be able to push that back. The other thing it will do is it'll actually lock the arbor, so that you can use your wrench to wrench on it. It'll automatically do that. So you don't need 2 wrenches. It's automatically locked and stuff. But again, that's for the router review. I just thought it was kind of cool that it was able to do that. I like to always put my bit really far below the surface because I have a bad habit of cutting myself every time I get near anything sharp. I've got so many cuts on my hands. Here's a new one. Cool. Again, if you have any questions, post them. I'm happy to come out here to the garage and do measurements for you or answer any questions you might have. I threaded a little hole that it had here so I can put a screw and I can hang my little wrench because it doesn't have any sort of hangers. Now, if you go to the Rockler website, they have plans for how you can build out a full-on like organizational thing inside this bench. And it's super high-end cool. Like I'm in love with what they did. I don't think I'm going to be doing that. I'm way too busy to like organize more at this point. But, maybe someday. Cool, guys. Thanks for watching. Leave comments, questions, whatever you have. And if you want to see that Triton router being reviewed, click that subscribe button and hit your notification bell so that when it's up, you can get to it. Cheers.